don't know who needs to hear this, but spring is not the best time of the year, like so many people will try to tell you. Like, I've been struggling to walk straight because I have a condition and it literally exacerbates in the spring. I am bruised all over my body because I don't know where door entrances are anymore. Like my head is swinging and vertigo all the time. Like I feel weird things in my body, and it happens the same time in spring. And I remember going to a neurologist and saying all of this stuff. The first neurologist I went to, she started basically laughing at me because I don't know why, but every time I go, it's always a person that clearly doesn't take care of themselves. And so when they see a person that does, they assume that I'm healthy or I'm clearly not. Like I'm bruised. And I was telling her, like, I can't walk straight. I need assistance to get to on a treadmill and to get off the treadmill. I hurt myself really pretty badly because I missed the treadmill. And at some point in time, I started thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Like, do I have something really debilitating? And only after I did an MRI, that doctor was like, oh, yeah, you have problems. So, to cut it short, spring is really like, I feel like, again, capitalism and all of this kind of cliche thinking tells us that we're supposed to be happy. Like all you need to feel in spring is happy, happy, happy. And I agree. Like from the middle of April, when your body has already transitioned, and May, you will be happy if there's no underlying issues. But the transitional period, the end of February, March, these are hard times. And like science backs this up. Like our bodies are deprived of nutrients, even if we are eating like blueberries and dark greens and everything that you're supposed to eat. It's not in season. It's like artificially created. It's not the same as, our local produce during the summer and autumn. And so everything that like last autumn kind of good stuff that we ate, like those resources are depleted. We don't see sun unless you're living in, I don't know, a super warm country, but like being a Belarusian and Ukrainian and now living in Poland, like the last 5 days were so good in terms of the sun and the apartment, how my child feels, how my cat and dog feels, how I feel is completely different because like even though I stay out of the sun like a vampire, it still changes the vibe of everything. Like you can go out, like you have a choice of like going out and being in the sun if you want to, or you can put on SPF or get an umbrella. But when you don't have a choice, like in a few days it's gonna start raining. It's gonna be that Polish kind of gray stuff again. That's when I feel like I'm in that spring type of thing. And so what happens is like we're mentally exhausted, we're physically exhausted, we don't get all the vitamins that we need, sleep patterns can be disturbed, and the weather, like everyone's like, oh, it's so warm, it's so nice. Bitch, I don't know, is it warm? Is it warm? Because when I'm walking the dog like early in the morning, it's freezing, and then if I wear the same stuff at 10, I'm already hot. And if I go out with my baby to the playground at like 1 p.m., it's scorching. And then from like 4 to 5, it starts to be nice again. And then when I walk the dog at night, I have to wear a hat. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I was walking out without a hat. I didn't like that because I'm a singer. I don't need that stuff. Like, the minute the wind goes into my ears, into my lungs, I'm dead for weeks. So I'm not doing that. So I don't know about the weather. The weather is very, very changing all the time, and like that's why everyone gets sick, and then everyone gets sick, and we have all these viruses going around and shit. So no, I'm really like this period. I have a backpack, and in which I have sunglasses, my UV umbrella, I have my cap and my child's cap, and I have hats. So I have layers on as well, so I can wear a t-shirt like this, and then I can put on a thin sweater. I'm not playing around. So that's what spring has been like, like for me, and I'm always kind of like afraid, when is this like depression, the spring depression is gonna hit me? Like, when am I gonna feel this emptiness? That like it's kind of like, it's not because you're not upset because you have a reason to be upset, but it's like suddenly hits you like like a knife in your chest, and you're like can't breathe, because it's just like hormones doing stuff. And like, not to mention women who have to deal with the spring, with the freaking hormone 28 cycle, which men's hormones are just like this. And it's like, we're the soft, tender gender. Are you sure about that? Anyway, so like my tips are pretty like basic, but maybe you haven't tried something. So what I started doing is minding my nutrition, because I've been eating trash, and I'm just relying on being a Ukrainian warrior, whatever, being the superhero that I am. And I feel like, no, I feel like tingling. I feel weird. I feel weak. So what I started is I'm gonna eat a lot of microgreens that I grow. I grow flaxseed and chia seeds. It's very easy. You get a container, you put one or two layers of toilet paper, just regular, and you just spray the flax seeds. Like, I spray 2 layers, and same with flax seeds. What did I say? Flax seeds and chia seeds, and then you just spray them 3 times a day with yours, like with a sprinkler or a very thin string of water. That's it. And then when they start breaking, when the seed breaks and the little white sprout comes out, you put them on the countertop. Oh yeah, you hide them for the first, you just water them for 3 times a day, and you hide them inside a counter. And then when the seed has broken and the little white sprout is coming out, you put them on the counter, and you just kind of easier to take care of it, because like you don't forget about it. I put reminders on my phone. And then it's just microgreens. They're pretty good for you. You don't need to eat a lot of them. It's like they're the most nutritious concentration in a tiny, tiny vessel. So they're like, it's just a little bit of food, but it's like an explosion of everything that you need. Another thing that I'm going to do is sprout stuff. So basically just eat stuff that is sprouted, and eat more what you call it, like green stuff. Like, I got chickpeas, I'm gonna do them. And I love doing lentils. Lentils grow very fast, they grow very tall, and they taste like, it's very weird, they look like leafy grass, but they taste like green beans with, like, fried green beans with garlic and salt, like just a super, and like with rye black bread. It's like ridiculous. It's so good. And it's like, they grow a lot. So it's the same process with chickpeas and with lentils. I just buy regular ones in the supermarket, and I put them in water for like 2 days, like, so 48 hours, and then they sprout, and then you just have to wash them out, wash them out, wash them out. And if you want to grow them tall, just put them in a container with a little bit of soil or some toilet paper. Grow them to however long you want to grow them. And when it comes to lentils, I just keep them around the house because they remind me of like, there's just something green to look at because they grow so fast and they're so easy to keep. Because I feel like chickpeas are harder to keep, and I love sprouted peas, but they're harder for me. Like I've had a lot of unsuccessful batches, and it's like I feel very bad when I throw them out when they go bad, and I can't do anything about them. So lentils have been easy for me, and chickpeas as well. They always work. So another thing I'm gonna do is eat a colorful plate. Like I'm literally gonna do the 5-a-day UK stuff because I forget, because I'm like, oh, of course I eat like vegetarian, vegan most days. Like of course I eat like 5 a day, but many days I just eat, trash, and I forget about like a kiwi or a banana or something like that. It seems easy, but like we're literally nutritionally deficient. Like we are not full of energy right now. Another thing that I've started doing is getting up early, like bright and early, so I can do the most work in the hours when I have that flow state, and then I can chill and relax, and I can go into nature, like in parks and stuff. So I'm kind of like distributing the time. So like if I wake up at 5, before 8, when my child gets up, like 3 hours of work, concentrated work, I can make most of work in that time, and then it's like, calls and emails and syncs and stuff like that. But I work from home, so it's different for everyone, of course. But even if you work this time, literally before work, is very precious when no one bothers you and you can just do your stuff, because at the end of the day we have one life, and like we're most of the time giving it away to the corporation that we work for. And like carving out that time gives you a bigger purpose. So in those times when you feel like, oh, I feel that emptiness, you're like, you have something to look forward to every day. Like even if it's not 3 hours, I'm very blessed. I don't have to commute. I don't have to do anything like that. I can have that time. But even a little bit of time carved out for your goal that is bigger than you, that is always going to give you purpose, no matter what is going on, that is very important. And another thing, a big trick that I learned when I was in that mode, I was in that mode before the war in Ukraine started. I would get up at 5 and I would write, because or research, and write, and then I would do my regular schmegular job. And it just gave me so much purpose because, I know that I'm in a job that, like, I'm making another motherfucker rich, let's be honest. I'm not making myself rich. But that time gave me hope that I can work on me, you know. And another thing that I learned, that I was so exhausted at the end of the day, I could not scroll, I could not do none of that unproductive stuff that doesn't bring you anything. Because when we are not in a flow state, we can't go to sleep for some reason, because we're conditioned by society that we're grown-up adults and we need to do stuff like before we go to sleep, like watch TV and shit like that, which is destructive to our brains. I learned that I would just hit the pillow and I was out like a light. And then I would jump out of bed inspired, because I traded the time that I spent on scrolling, worrying about stupid shit, reading news that I couldn't affect. Reading news is not bad, but if you can't change anything, it's just toxic. So, and yeah, this is the trick. So I would hit the pillow at 10 p.m. and I would be out. And the time before the 12 p.m. is not the same. It's not the same kind of currency as you know, if you go to bed at 1 a.m. after scrolling and scrolling, and then you kind of pass out in that weird state, you're not passed out from physical tiredness, but more like a mental exhaustion from the scrolling and all of that toxic stuff. I would have like me sleeping from 10 to 5 was enough. And I can't even explain it. Like I don't know how that works, because all my life I would sleep and sleep in. I could sleep until 12 in the afternoon, and I would always be exhausted. But here, like, I would go to bed at 10 and easily wake up at 5 without an alarm clock. Get up, start doing my tea, and work like a maniac for 3 hours on my shit. So that's what I'm trying to do now. And I was drinking melatonin. I was taking melatonin before bed, but one doctor told me that it's better to set up a schedule and not be dependent on anything like a drug. And I agree with that. Like, I try to do the natural thing, if you know what I mean. I'm not an anti-vax or anything like that. Obviously, I'm science-based, but like, if I can work around my body without melatonin, then fine. So I'm trying to do that. I'm getting up tomorrow at 5. I have a crazy day tomorrow. I'm gonna go through it like a maniac. And so yeah. And then, like I told you, by the end of the day, me and my baby, we're exhausted. We're just boom, hit the pillow and sleep. Actually sleep, not like, no anxiety, no panic attacks, nothing like that, because we're exhausted. um I have bad habits that I want to work on this spring. One of them is like online shopping, but not really shopping, like online window shopping, just scrolling through offers and like all these things. Like, I'm into makeup, I'm into, well, more skincare than makeup. But I discovered that my freaking eyeshadow was 3 years after the due date, after the best before date, and I didn't know why my eyes were getting infected. Well, sometimes you have to check that shit, so I got myself new eyeshadow. I broke the bank. So my plan ideally is to get up early. It doesn't have to be 5, can be, 6, 7 is fine as well. But different days are gonna be different. It doesn't have to be like, I hate shit like that, like, oh, it has to be 5. No, listen to your body. But like, I swear to God, if you consistently wake up an hour earlier than you're waking up now, you're gonna be more tired. And the sleep that you get is going to be more high quality, because of the sense of accomplishment, because the sense of accomplishment is giving you peace, because you know that despite of the fact that we're all living in this dystopia, absolutely dystopian wasteland where people don't have money for groceries, like, nobody should be staring. Like, I meet so many people in Poland who ask me like, oh, how much is this? They can't understand the deals because these corporations are fucking with our brain. They're like, I had a old lady ask me like, I can't afford this candy. Please tell me what the deal is. Like, she couldn't even understand how much it was off. We're living in this absolutely crazy world. So if you keep doing the routine, this spring is going to be better. It's going to give you hope. Yeah, that's what it is. It's going to give you hope, and it's going to give you peace that despite the dystopia, you are doing everything you can, which is what happiness is. Doing everything you can. Everything that is in your power, you're doing. Like, carve out that time, go to sleep at the same time. You're going to be better. And if you want to stay happy and be happy, subscribe to my channel, because I'm a happy bitch.